Hello and welcome to Grognard's Solo Gaming. I am the Grognard, and today we are continuing with 4 Against Darkness using the Fantasy Solo Roleplaying Framework by Carsten of the Solospelunking channel. And his channel and the framework are going to be linked below. As promised, I am going to add a little bit of information to each character, and this is taken from the Roll and Play books. And for this session, I have randomized the reason for each character that they have become an adventurer. So, Darren's parents are talented blacksmiths, and he used to help test their weapons before each sale. Their customers told him stories of a legendary two-handed sword hidden far away. So when Darren was old enough, he set off to find it. The sword's name is Black Flame. Born into an infamous family of assassins, Morrigan ran away to seek a more peaceful life. She is now applying her unique skills to stop crime, not take part in it, much to her family's disdain. The family's name is Stormcrow. Freya is one of the lead scribes of her deity's scriptures. After receiving a strange vision of a forgotten temple in a lush jungle, she has put her holy work on pause so she can seek out this sacred region. Both Magnus brothers became sorcerers in their childhood, but he didn't get any powers. Jealousy led him to fervently study magic so that one day he will be able to find them and show off his skills. Before I get started playing, I am going to go through a few things that I have thought about since the last game. I mentioned surprise during the previous session, and there is actually one more circumstance where there is surprise, and that is when a wandering monster attacks the party. And that happens if you are retracing your steps in a dungeon. Then they get the initiative and they attack first, and they also attack the party from the back. Also, about the scope for this campaign, I have decided that I am going to level these characters to level 5, and then the campaign is going to be done. Then also, I have decided to house rule the leveling, the rules in the base game, or the rules in 4 Against Darkness, is that you are supposed to use a die roll in order to see if you level up. And I really never liked that part. It's just annoying. So the way that I'm going to do it is that they are going to, instead of the XP rolls, they're going to get XP. And then it's going to cost their current level to get to the next level, but they can also pay 100 gold and visit a trainer in town in order to bring the cost down by 1. And the reason for that is that I feel like oftentimes in this game, gold doesn't feel very meaningful after a while. I have looked at the spells. I didn't mention that last time. The clerics in this game, they can cast the blessing spell 3 times per adventure, and they can use the healing power 3 times per game. And I have also decided that Magnus has memorized or prepared 3 sleep spells. Then also concerning the wizard, I have decided that I'm going to reskin his staff into cantrips and low-level spells, because I didn't really like the idea of the wizard running into combat with his staff and killing more goblins than the warrior. Finally, the framework is structured around the adventuring day, and generally that would be 16 hours. And then each action, like visiting the tavern, going shopping, things like that, everything takes approximately 1 hour. But that would mean the characters have 16 sort of actions per day, And I feel like that would work better with slightly more detailed games like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. So I have decided that the characters get 8 action tokens per day, and when the 8 tokens are spent, then their adventuring day is over. Also, I am going to be using the framework for the whole campaign when it comes to going to town, and also when it comes to traveling in the wilderness. However, I am going to use several different methods for generating dungeons. All right, so we know that we know, but the characters don't know, that the dungeon has 5 rooms. Let us have the characters enter the dungeon. Having killed the guards outside of the lair, the party starts to move into the cave. And as they do, they can hear a mournful howling from somewhere inside. And they are going to do their best to move quietly. Right, so let us go to the dungeon section of the framework. So let's have them enter the first room. Then roll 1d6. On a roll of 1 to 3, there is a monster encounter in the room. So let's check that. Yes, there is a monster encounter in the room. Dungeon room table rolling AD66. 51. Okay. Number 51, Goblin Market. Stalls filled with stolen goods and trinkets line the walls of this bustling market, and the air is thick with the scent of sweat and greed. Goblins haggle and bicker with customers, their beady eyes gleaming with avarice. Well, this was certainly a surprise. Then the question that I have to ask is, who are the customers? Because it feels as if though they would have to be more or less evil in order to be trading with the goblins like this. So I am going to say that the odds are good that these are some kind of evil creatures or humans like bandits or the like that are trading with the goblins, and then I'm going to flip the card and find out. And the answer is yes. So what that means is that all the creatures in here can be attacked by the party, and they don't really have to have any moral quandaries about this. All right, so let's see what we can find. Okay, so we have desert kobolds trading with the goblins, and the party is going to simply attack. So let's find out how many goblins are there. A d6 plus 3. There are 6 goblins and also a d6 plus 3 desert kobolds. 9 of them. This would be a good time for Magnus to cast one of his sleep spells. So he is going to do that first. And he gets a +1. Let's see if he hits. He does hit, yes. And then he puts 1d6 plus 1 minions to sleep. He puts 6 of them to sleep. Let us then, for convenience sake, say that he puts all the goblins to sleep. There are no more goblins in this fight. But now there are only 9 desert kobolds. All right, so let's have the rest of the party attack the desert kobolds and see how they do. Okay, that was not great. They are level 3. Well, Darren kills 2 of them, and Freya kills 1 of them. So they are down to 6 desert kobolds. And that means everyone suffers an attack. Everyone has a +2 except Magnus, who has a +0. Poor Freya suffers 1 point of damage. Those were the first 4 attacks, and then the last 2 are going to be aimed at Darren and Morgan. And they both succeed because they both have a +2. Alright, so then we are back to the party, now facing 6 desert kobolds, and let's see how that goes. Darren kills 1, Morgan kills 1, so they kill another 2 desert kobolds. The desert kobolds are down to 4, that means everyone suffers an attack. Defense rolls. That was really good, actually. Everyone managed to defend, and then it is back to the party, and they are attacking. And let's see. Darren kills 2, and then so that finishes the desert kobolds. And every time you defeat a group of minions, you get something, I don't know what it's called, but when you have 10 of those, then you get an XP roll, but that is going to mean 1 XP point with my house rules. Well, the party is going to look through the goods, and I'm gonna draw a card. They find smoked ham. That seems edible. It seems that these are all stolen goods that probably belongs to the kidnapped villagers. Right. So let's see. This room in the dungeon has a D3 minus a 1 exits. So let's see about that. This room has 2 exits, and then I am just going to use the GMA cards have arrows on them to give directions. So from this room with the marketplace, you can go north and east. The party is going to, let's see, they have treasure, right, as did the goblins outside. So let's have a look at what that means. That means you roll on the treasure table. All right, so I am going to make 3 rolls on the treasure table for the 2 groups of goblins and the 1 group of desert kobolds. And that means I got 1d6 gold pieces, so 2 gold pieces. Then I got a number 5, 1 item of jewelry worth 3d6 times 10 gold pieces. All right, so then I have a 6 left to resolve. 160 gold pieces. And then I had a 6, and that would be 1 random magic item from the magic treasure table below. So let us see what that is. A number 5, Potion of Healing. Can be swallowed at any moment, healing all lost life to a single character. Drinking it does not require an action. This is a 1-use magic item usable by all classes except barbarians. That is very nice. I am going to give that potion to Darren, actually. Right. So then let us see where the party is going to go next? I think they are going to go to the east. So let us see what they find there. And then I am rolling a d66 on the dungeon room table. And that would be 34. Labyrinthine library. Countless shelves filled with dusty tomes and scrolls stretch out in every direction, forming a maze of knowledge. The air is thick with the scent of parchment and ink, and the occasional flutter of wings betrays the presence of resident book-loving imps. Well, that's very interesting, but that also makes it clear that probably technically the goblin part of this dungeon might just have been the previous room. So either that means the kidnapped villagers are already dead or sold as slaves or something, or they might be somewhere deeper inside the dungeon, but only if that part of the dungeon is still connected to the goblins, and I don't think that is very likely. And it seems that Captain Corey has been given some bad intel on this. This is in fact not a goblin hideout, but something much stranger. Coming upon these strange imps, the characters are actually going to observe them and not simply attack them to see what they are doing inside of this library. Unfortunately, the imps are highly aggressive and instantly attack the party. So let's see. They are a d6 plus 5 in a number. Ooh, they are 11. That was not great. That means, unfortunately, that the party has to suffer 11 attacks because this is why you should not hesitate and watch the monsters. You should simply attack them first. So I think if they survive this, they're gonna have learned their lesson, and from then on they are going to simply attack right away. But let's see. Starting with the first wave of attacks, they need to be rolling force. So let's see. This was terrible. Well, actually, Darren and Freya suffer 1 point of damage each. That means Freya has suffered 2 points of damage and Darren 1. Then the second wave of attacks, well, that went better, but poor Freya still suffers 1 more damage, and Freya has 5 hit points or life. So she is still standing. Then finally, we have 3 more attacks. 3 more attacks means everyone except Magnus gets attacked. And with a +2, that means that Morrigan suffered 1 point of damage. Okay, not a good start for the party. But here come the party attacks. Let's see how they do. No 6s, that is too bad. Let us start with the warrior with a +1, so he kills 2 of them. Moving on to Magnus, he fails to kill any imps, unfortunately. Then also Freya fails to kill any imps. And finally, also Morgan fails to kill any imps because the party is not outnumbering the enemies. Defending against more attacks. And that went really well. The first wave did not cause any damage. Second wave, Darren suffers another point of damage. That is not great. And that would have been 8, and there's 1 more left. Well, Darren has more life than Morgan, so he is going to tank it. And he does. So that was quite lucky. And then the party attacks, and let's see. That does nothing. That kills 1. They are down to 8. Magnus with a firebolt, perhaps. And Darren's attack explodes, so that is a total of 11, meaning that he kills 3 of the imps. They are down to 5, but then we are still not outnumbering them, so Morgan fails to kill even a single one. And they are down to 5, and everyone has to defend. Magnus is fine, Darren is fine, but Freya and Morgan take 1 point of damage each. And let's see, there are 5 of them, so that means I need to roll 1 more defense roll, and it's going to be Morgan. And she is all right. Great. Then it is the party's turn. Just going to attack, and let us see. Magnus kills 1 with a cantrip, so they're down to 4. Darren kills 2 with his sword, his long sword, and that means they are down to 2. And then Freya fails to hit them, and finally Morgan, she kills only 1, which means there is 1 left. And that poor lonely imp is going to attack Morgan, and she's going to dodge, but she fails to dodge, and that brings her down to only 1 life left. And then I forgot that Freya was supposed to heal herself. Well, never mind. And then the party destroys the last poor imp. And now things are looking not great. Well, let's have the party take care of their wounds. Freya is going to heal herself, and she is going to heal herself for a d6 plus 1 life, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. This power allows the cleric to heal a number of life points equal to 1d6 plus her level. Right. So, Freya healing herself for 3 points of damage, meaning she has still suffered 1. Freya is going to heal Morgan. So, Morgan is back to full. The imps. Well, they have a number 4. They have 1 gem worth 2d6 times 5 gold pieces. They have a gem worth 50 gold pieces. And then I feel as if though this being a library and it's full of tomes and scrolls, I feel like there would be a good chance of finding a spell scroll. So let's flip a GMA card, and let's say that the odds are good that there is indeed a spell scroll. And the answer was yes. So then the party finds a spell scroll. Random spell table 1d6. Let's see. They find a scroll of sleep. Well, Magnus is going to pocket that scroll of sleep. Okay. So let us see how many doors lead out of this weird place, the library. 0. All right. That means that the party has to go back into the goblin marketplace. Doing so, they run the risk of a wandering monster, and the risk is a 1 in 6. So let's see. Nope, there was no wandering monster in the Goblin Marketplace. That means that they are going to have to go north out of that room, and then we are rolling a d66 for another dungeon room, and that would be a 54. And a 54 is a chamber of reflection. A still pool of water fills this serene chamber, reflecting the ceiling above like a mirror. The air is filled with a sense of peace and tranquility, and the occasional ripple breaks the surface of the water as if disturbed by unseen forces. Well, that's fairly weird. Let's see. Isn't there a pool room of some sort in Four Against Darkness? Let's see. Special event, special feature. Well, fountain. Let's see. All wounded characters recover 1 life the first time they encounter a fountain in an adventure. Further fountains have no effect. Alright, so I'm trying to decide if this, because the ripples breaking the surface make it sound as if though there might be something there that is invisible, so maybe it's some kind of a creature. But then again, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that it's 50-50, and then I'm going to ask the GMA, is this room a fountain according to the Four Against Darkness rules? So I'm flipping a card, even, no. All right, so there is something invisible in here. Let's see. Is there a... Yes, dungeon monster encounter table. So I'm gonna roll on this and see if I get something that could possibly be invisible and disturbing the surface of the pool. 44, right? That would be a gelatinous cube. A massive gelatinous cube oozes into view, its transparent body pulsating with acidic slime. So, in fact, the entire pool was not water, but a gelatinous cube. However, this session has been going on for long enough, so I am going to leave the poor party there on a cliffhanger. That was it for this session. I thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.